What up, everybody? Welcome back to Jim's Stream of Thought, your regular source for reviews on streaming content. And for today's episode, I'll be reviewing Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, the latest adaptation of the popular Capcom video game. So, for this adaptation, which incidentally, for the uninitiated, has nothing to do with the live action movies starring Milla Jovovich, but is rather a much more faithful adaptation of the video game series. Okay? Now, this particular installment features the lead characters from the extremely popular Resident Evil 2, namely Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, who work together to uncover a sinister conspiracy within the US government that involves zombies as bioweapons. The plot's pretty simple, and there aren't that many twists to spoil, so I'll just leave it at that. And basically, there's not much else to talk about in terms of story, because even if I were inclined to give you spoilery plot points, the plot is just a very threadbare excuse to string together a bunch of horror set pieces and action sequences involving zombies, gunfights, and chases. That's pretty much been the case for most of the Resident Evil adaptations anyway. By the way, this is presented as a series, but I have no doubt that when this was written and shot, it was conceived as a film, just like all of its other predecessors. I guess that the upper management, or the folks at Netflix, must have decided that their audience would consume this more eagerly if it was presented as a series that they could binge, rather than as a film they had to sit through. Whatever, right? Whatever works. Now, if you're a fan of the video games, now I admit open world is more my thing than the Resident Evil games. I'm struggling through Resident Evil 2 right now. I'm not a fan of horror games. It's just not my thing. But I do recognize that there is an audience for shows, movies, works like this, and it's most likely the Resident Evil fan base. And you know what? I'm gonna go out and say that this pretty much has what you want in a Resident Evil adaptation. It's got fantastic graphics, which are just about on par with the graphics in the current game, which I believe is Resident Evil 8. It's got a lot of action, a lot of gunplay, a lot of thrills and spills, and plenty of zombie fighting, which is again the number one marketing point for this, which is basically a marketing tool for the game. And that's pretty much about it. You know, it's like I said, somebody else described this as a video game you can't play. And as a marketing tool for the game, I imagine it's very effective. As a piece of narrative, well, not so much. The voice acting is passable. It's better than some of the other voice acting I've heard in the previous games. But the dialogue it just goes from kind of okay in the first episode to downright laughable towards the end. It's just really sad. And the thing is, what makes me sad, and what makes me take the time to even talk about this, is the fact that because this series is ultra violent, just like the game it's based on, it's marketed as being something for adults. Okay, it's not marketed for teens or children. It's an adult series. But the thing is, there is so much better content out there, even just on Netflix, aimed at adults. Even the animated stuff. Okay, this series the series dialogue sounds like it was written by someone in junior high. Okay, and heck, I have children. I have a child in high school, and I know that she can write better than this. So, yeah, if you're looking for an extension of your video game experience, great. This is for you. Great graphics. I'm a part-time gamer myself, so I can appreciate stuff like that. But if you're clicking onto this series looking for a coherent narrative, something compelling, this just isn't for you. Okay, so all of that said, bearing the pros and cons of this in mind, I'm gonna give this series a 6/10. I might be tempted to go even lower, but no, it has its plus points if you appreciate it for what it is. If it's basically a marketing tool for the video game, tries to replicate the video game experience. Okay, that's a fair assessment. So 6/10 it is. Okay, so that's it for this particular episode. I hope you enjoyed my review, and you know the drill. If you like what you've seen, remember to give me a like and a subscribe.